Welcome back everyone. Dr. Naveen here from UPSC Medico. So UPSC Civil Service Examination 2025 notification is out. Now, why this session is important? There are some major changes this time in the notification portal and also in the online application form. One biggest issue is that now you have to be ready with all the required documents. Okay, you have to be ready with all the required documents in the PDF format so that you have to upload them. So previously the process was pretty easy. You don't need to upload any of the document in the sense, if you have a caste certificate, valid caste certificate, if people from PWD category, they have to upload their certificates. And also if you're claiming for economically weaker section stuff, and also in the caste you have OBC non-creamy part. So all the certificates should be ready as per the prescribed date, right? Apart from this, one major change in UPSC CSE 2025 notification was you have to choose your service preference. So previously, during prelims application in the online application form, you don't have to choose any service, whether it's a central service, all India service like IAS, IPS, or the states, the group A or group B services. Now you should be ready with your service preference. So this is one major change which happened. So because you need documents ready, and because the notification is now out, so by the deadline, you should be uploading your documents. But the biggest worry to most of the aspirants now is who are actually applying, you have to apply soon because allotment of centers will be on first apply, first allot basis. Right, so that's the reason this session is important, wherein I'll be trying to cover all the key updates, key changes, and are also all the required documents that should be available so that you can be ready with the application process. Now, application has been started on around 22nd January 2025. So this is the website. If you type in upsconline.gov.in, you will be redirected there. And last date for application is important because the last date for application is 11th February 2025. By 6 p.m., all the documents should be uploaded and the process should be done. If you have already done an OTR, okay, one-time registration for previous attempts like 24, 23, 22, most of the registration process is already done. Now you have to upload your documents, you have to upload your latest photograph, signature and all. Apart from that, the basic process is done. If you want to modify something, the modification portal will start in 12th February to 18th February for the latest or new applicants, right? And this time the total number of vacancies are on the lower side. For the last 2 consecutive years, there are 1,000+ vacancies. Now a little less, like 978 vacancies are available. Right now, what are the key dates that you need to focus? The key dates for this UPSC CSE 2025 are: you are going to write your prelims examination after a successful application on 25th May 2025, and you have mains in less than 90 days of time, that is 22nd August 2025. This time they made a major change. So previously we used to get 100 days or 110 days, but now UPSC has taken a resolution, the board, that they're going to hasten the process of examination. Okay, so that's the reason the time period is little less. Now on 22nd August the mains will resume and results will come probably in the month of, most of the times it is in the December, because they're pushing it a little forward. Maybe we might expect results in the month of November also. So November to December you will get your results, and personality tests will resume for 2 to 3 months or 3 to 4 months between Jan to April, and final results will be in May 2026. So this is the key dates or timelines that you need to follow. We all know UPSC exam, it runs in a cycle of 18 to 24 months. Though you are appearing for 25 exam, you will get your results in May 2026. By the time the results will come, you will be a 7 days gap period between this results and the next prelims. So or 21 days gap period will be there. So you should be ready for that 2026 attempt also if you are a serious aspirant. Right. So this is the key dates that you need to know. So as I said, apply soon, be ready with all the things. The first major change this time is the service preference. Okay, service preference. Now, many of you who are just giving prelims for the first time, or if this is your UPSC first attempt, you will be little worried like which service to choose, because most of the times in 9 out of 10 scenarios or 10 out of 10 scenarios, people usually opt for Indian Administrative Service as their first preference, right? And yes, if interested in police service, people go for IPS as second service, or sometimes if not interested in IPS or physically not eligible for IPS, you can better opt for IFS as the second option. So one, usually this is two or three based on the preference. But for some aspirants who doesn't want to get into police service, the best alternative option most of the time is Indian Revenue Service. In the Indian Revenue Service, I had seen many of the previous aspirants weighing customs and indirect taxes Group A service as number 3 and Indian Revenue Service and IT as number 4. Okay, so if you're not interested to get into police service or crime and all, the third and fourth better options are IRS Customs as 3 and IRS Income Tax as fourth one. Okay, done. So after this, the remaining are again, see, you need to understand the basic difference between All India Service. All India Service is also a part of Group A service. Okay, Group A as a separate entity and Group B services. See, Group A and Group B, the basic difference is Group A will also give you, apart from administrative aspects, executive responsibilities will also be given. But in Group B, you will be mainly helping in administration of the state, right? So the Group B services, what we usually have are armed force headquarters services. You have DANIC service, you have DANIP service, Pondix and Pondips. So these are the Group B services you have. Even IAS, IPS and not IFS, it is Indian Forest Service, Indian Administrative Service and Indian Police Service. Only these three are all India services. All India services. Whereas IFS, though it is ranked well, it is Indian Foreign Service. So for beginners, it's a confusion. Indian Foreign Service is different. Indian Forest Service is different. Previously, even Indian Forest Service recruitments used to happen through the same UPSC exam. Now they have a separate UPSC exam exclusive for Indian Forest Service. Okay, so it is not part of this exam what we are discussing. Now IAS you have, IPS you have, and other Group A services, the major priority is IFS and IRS. These are the four services usually people look at apart from Indian Forest Service if you are interested in it. Right? Done. One major change in service was the service list was previously we used to have 21 services. Now it is 23 because Indian Railway Management Service, what they have done in the past is that instead of putting up separate entities like traffic, personal, accounts are technical. Technical means engineering based. Now this technical and engineering requirements has been removed from UPSC exam. Now it is part of Indian Engineering Service exam, which is a separate exam. Now, if you want to choose IRMS into the railway service, you can either get into traffic or personal or account section. Okay, this major change has been included in the current notification part. But for a beginners, it's always a confusion which service to choose because we usually choose service preference after clearing prelims and after writing mains while going for the personality test. But now you have to input this within the online application form itself for the first time. Right now, this is the important thing that you need to know. So this is service preference, and many of the aspirants are getting confused between service preference versus cadre preference. Cadre is the state. Okay, most of the times we go for home state. After the home state, we have to choose preference in 5 different zones. Number 1 is Haryana, number 2 is Rajasthan, number 3 is Punjab. Based on the allocation, you will get your own cadre. Cadre is different, service preference is different. This is the time you choose your service preference. Cadre preference you have to choose, okay, after clearing the preliminary examination. So previously, after clearing mains, people used to choose the cadre. Now, after clearing prelims, you have to choose the cadre. Okay, so the cycle is a little bit now it is more prospective. It is pushed forward. Okay, it is pushed forward so that you can start choosing your service and cadre a little early. This is the major change. Now, apart from that, the documents part is also important. So, what are all the documents that we need to upload? So, please look at here. You need matriculation or SSS certificate and all the education pass out certificates, community certificate if applicable, and necessary undertaking certificate if applicable. Okay, so candidates who are qualified for the interview, or we call it as a personality test, based on the written part of mains examination, they have to produce. Now you only need Xerox copies, Xerox in the sense, the PDF scanned copy that is to be uploaded. Only uploaded in the website. UPSC has clearly mentioned that some people are sending scanned Xerox copies directly to the UPSC office. So don't do that. only and only scanned PDF documents as per the requirement should be uploaded in the website, and the original documents should be submitted at the time of the personality test where they verify it. If the documents are found not as per the recommendations, then they will be entailed to the cancellation of the candidature. Okay, so you have to you have to be careful while uploading the documents. Okay, this is the important stuff that you need to understand. So the board has clearly mentioned that to avoid last minute rush, okay, and complications, candidates are encouraged to have their required certificates ready and submit their applications well in advance. Okay, that's what I'm telling. First come first basis is there. So apply it as early as you can so that to avoid last minute rush and complications. Now, what documents do we need? The first and foremost, most of us will be having an Aadhaar card. Okay, don't complicate this. Just go with the Aadhaar card. Okay, and you have to have an original Aadhaar card which should be carried to the prelims examination center, mains examination center, and also the personality test. If you do not have an Aadhaar card, the other we do have an Aadhaar card, but you can also choose other cards like voter card, PAN card, passport, driving license. So these are the available options, right? Now, in the documents part, one important thing is undertakings. I'm from medical fraternity. If there is any MBBS student who is watching this, you need to understand that many of us we join CMS service or PHC services. Okay. In either of these government services, if it is a government complete, it's a government organization, persons in government in temporary or permanent capacity, they should actually take a written undertaking which is included in annexure 1 of the application. Take a printout of it, get a signature from head of your institute, superintendent, or in CMS board you do have your CGHS officer or a railway officer who is in charge to sign these undertakings. So take an undertaking that. So this undertaking means that as you are a government employer, you have informed your employer. Okay, you are an employee, you have informed your employer about your interest in UPSC and you took permission to appear for this exam. If at all you did not take this undertaking, and if at all your head writes a letter to UPSC that some so and so X hasn't taken any permission from us or undertaking from us, then your application is liable for cancellation. So take this undertaking, and this is very important, and the format is there in the application form itself. You can download it. Next thing is economically weaker section category. Okay, so this is very important. You need most latest certificate, most latest issued in the financial year 2023-2024. So for a period of 1st April 2023 to 31st March 2024. So if you haven't taken this, what I say, like let's say if you're not appearing for this exam, okay, you don't have to worry. But if you're appearing for 2026, the same schedule you follow. Don't wait till the application to be released. In the months of like this coming 2025, okay, in the months of April to May, okay, you can apply. Okay, you can apply for this and you can support your claim. Now, next is SC, ST, physically backward and ex-serviceman certificates also. So there is no strict guidelines as such when it should be released. Okay, candidates should note that their certificate should be issued as latest as close as possible to the date, that is 11/02/2025. Okay, there's no cutoff as such. So don't get confused. If you have a certificate of 11/0 to 2023 and you have also taken 2024 one, go with the most latest one possible. Okay, candidates should have these certificates issued latest by the closing date, that is 11. So there is no cutoff as such. That should be like as they have given here. It is for the period. It is for the period, the format. So you don't have any cutoff for the SC/ST ex-serviceman certificates. Now next, OBC has a cutoff. OBC non-creamy layer certificate has a cutoff. It should be based on 3 financial years and it should be issued on or after. This is what I'm trying to say. The caste certificate does not have this on or after criteria, but it should be latest by the end of the application date. But this certificate, OBC non-creamy layer, should be issued after April 1st, 2024. Okay, so most of the OBC candidates who want to claim non-creamy layer category, they should have a latest certificate on or after April 1st, 2024. And in the caste certificate, the name which is mentioned of the caste Sometimes there are some of the castes in OBC, the regional name differs from the central list name. So always make sure that check the list of the centrally published caste names, and that name should match with your OBC name. Okay, this is specifically mentioned. So the name of the caste, the spelling is very important. If there is a spelling mistake, you will not be eligible to claim OBC non-creamy layer category. Right? That's it. Now, photograph is the biggest headache for most of us, right? So many of us, what we do, we take our old photograph, we edit with Adobe software and all, we input our name and latest date. The latest date is, it should not be more than 10 days old from the start of online application process. Online application process has started 22nd Jan. Now it should be between 12th Jan onwards. So 12th Jan. So if you are applying 11 Jan 2025 date, it is not valid. So it's clearly mentioned that the photograph must be not more than 10 days from the start of the online application process. So don't mention 11th Jan 2025. You can start mentioning 12th January 2025 onwards in the photo. Now immediately rush to a passport photo studio and get at least 12 to 15 copies of photos. Why? Because this time you have to carry these photos. So candidates who are appearing in examination should bring with him extra copies of photographs similar to one uploaded in the application form as per the infection. So this photo what you are uploading is very important. The same photo, the same appearance, the same beard, the same mustache, the same spectacles, everything should be same. So this photo is the most important thing, and this photo should have at least 3/4 of your face, and this photo should contain your name and the latest date, which is not more than 10 days old from the start of the online application process. Okay, photo is a real headache. So go to a photo studio, rush them, get a soft copy PDF as per required dimensions and size to upload. And apart from that, also make sure that the same facial appearance is maintained during the preliminary, mains, and also the personality test. Okay, and you have to carry these photos in physical form. You also need a physical photo apart from the PDF. Okay, now these are the photograph guidelines. And one more important change this time they made is in the UPSC CSE 2025 notification. If you have written any previous mains, they used to give a question paper separately and answer booklet separately, and they'll say word limit, word limit. But if you are writing medical science optional from medical background, we do not have any word limit from medical science optional. What they do is they type their question paper on top page and they'll give you one side of a page for 5 marks. Now this time the same pattern is going to be followed even for mains exam. Question paper come answer booklet. The question paper will be printed on top of the question paper, the booklet, and you will be given a separate space for answers. There is word limit. There is word limit. You have to adhere to the word limit. But now this time there is also a paper limit. Space limit is also they have introduced. If you're not following all this stuff which is mentioned in the instructions, penalty will be given if you violate the instructions. What is violation of instruction? If this is question number 1Q, if this is question number 2Q, if you're continuing your question here also in 2Q, they'll give penalty because you are violating the instructions. Hope you got the point. So question paper come answer booklet for all the tests like mains, general studies, essay, everything. They said that this time in the mains, instead of a separate question paper and answer book, a consolidated question paper come answer book will be given with a space below each part and sub part of a question, so that you have to work on space management rather than the word limit now. Okay, done. Now, next is language preference. See, this is there always, but many of the students whom I do mock interviews, the aspirants, uh, like 7 out of 10 times they're comfortable with English, but there are some students who only speak a regional language perfectly, or they only are good at Hindi. So, for those students, let me tell you, if you're not comfortable for a personality test or an interview in English, you can definitely choose either English or Indian language. Indian language or Hindi, sorry. If you're not comfortable, see, 9 out of 10 times people go with English, but you do have an option of Indian language and Hindi also. So you can choose either of this. The Indian language list is already there in your exam, right? There is an Indian language A and B exam which should be which is mandatorily Indian language and English exam. So that Indian language which you have opted in your mains exam, you can choose that for your personality test. But this should be done right now. Now decide. You are giving exam now. You have an interview in 8 to 10 months, right? So if you're confident, you think that you can improve your English communication skills, go with the English. It is safe because lot of mock tests which you attend, they don't conduct it on a regional language. Yes, definitely they do it in Hindi, but regional language like Telugu, Tamil, Malayalam and all, it's not possible. Okay, you don't get the same faculty or fraternity there. But if you're not confident that you're not going to improve your language skills, so better to go with Indian language or Hindi as per your convenience. Okay, so there is an option to change your language, but you have to choose it right now in the online application form before prelims. Okay, that's it. So these are the few things that you need to keep in mind for UPSC CSE 2025 exam. So I wish you all the best for the upcoming prelims. I know we are all busy with prelims mode is on, right? The crash course mode of prelims is on, but I uh, take a day of time or 2 days of time, read the instructions carefully and finish the application process as soon as you can. Don't carry this headache forward, and make sure that you check key dates, so that sometimes serious aspirants their application got rejected because of clinical errors or tiny mistakes. Okay, so don't do that mistake. Spend due amount of time, give respect to the application process, take time for at least 1 to 2 days. I think I have tried to help you on the major updates or major changes what have happened. The one important thing was service preference. It's very important right now, and also the language preference for the personality test. So choose wisely, and all the best for the upcoming dream.